Let's go get him.
Outcast Animations. Hey everyone, welcome to Outcast Animations, and today I'm going to be showing you how to mod the quite famed for modding game, Dungeon Defenders. And this is how to mod it on the Xbox, so let's get started. First you're going to need a USB drive, or I suppose it would work with a hard drive and a transfer cable as well, but I just use flash drive because it's a lot more practical. And then you need Horizon, is what I use. Some people use Mario. I'm a Horizon user. And once you have this all hooked up, you're going to open up your games, drop down Dungeon Defenders, and here where it says Save Game, not Xbox Live, arcade game, not the backup, not any of this, just Save Game. I'm going to want to right click and extract the file. Don't change the name, and just this folder here is all for hex modding. I'll have a video on that later. Just save it quick to your desktop so it's easy to navigate to. Here you go. So minimize this, and then you're going to want to open up Eternia Crystal. And there'll be download links for Horizon and Eternia Crystal. Don't you worry your pretty little head. Usually takes a minute to open. Oh, that was actually rather quick. And then when this comes up, you're just going to want to hit open. And scroll down, navigate your way to your doesnt save. That's what you just extracted. Then when it opens, it should look like this. Now I have a mod on my Huntress, not a mod, a unmodded weapon on my Huntress that I'm going to want to mod. So let's go over modding that first. Now here you have all your character stats. Now first of all, here when you click on characters, you can scroll through yours. I have a second set of characters specifically for modding, and you can change the level. I've not tried messing with the experience, but you could actually just hit 9 a bunch of times to max it out, and it'll put it at its max thing. But I don't really mess with the stats, because when you go over in stats, it will just reset your level if you go too much. So I don't mess with that. I just let the stats be what they already are. Here I just added speed because it's really annoying to go on a slow character. Now before we get to the weapon, might as well go over some of the colors. Now here I just have it go black, white, and white. When you have all this color pretty much all turned up to the same. So if this is, it can be generally different like it is here, but 20, 20, 20, that'd be white. And then I want it glowing. So this is how to get your characters, and the same thing for weapons to glow. Now, I put my glow at 100. That works. Some people max it out all the way. Doesn't really make a difference. But two, you can't just have, if, say, I had this on 1, 1, and 1, and I wanted to go, this would not work. While it will make the character white, the color themselves have to be up high enough along with the glow. So doing 20 or 40 will work. You don't need to put it that high. So I just put my things at 20 or 40. So that makes it glow white. If you want it to go glow black, you put it all negative 20 and still 100. I'm not really 100% sure what negative glow does, but I'm pretty sure it might not even change anything. Now obviously if you want to do yellow or gold, you just do red and green and make this 0. And then if you want to do purple, just red and blue. If you want to do pink, you do red 20, blue 20, and green about 15. So, you can mix and match with that, see what you get. And now let's head over to the weapon. Now, this is what you'll get when you bring up your weapon stats. This is what makes Eternia Crystal a lot easier to some than hex modding, is because it's all laid out here for you. Now, you're just going to want to max out all these stats, so just hit 99. So the most it'll get is 120. It won't let you go over. It corrects itself. And make a note while doing this, when you get your weapon in the game, something you're going to want to do is when you upgrade it, if you ever upgrade it for whatever reason, never upgrade these stats, because it will then send it to minus 127, I believe. Now, for the elemental damage, I'm just gonna go to one of my other characters with a modded. Oop, he doesn't have a modded weapon. A modded weapon on them, and then this is what. Well, that is an extra. That's a 4 there for some reason, but here is what I usually use, which is, to be exact, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is actually just 2 billion. So I'm just gonna copy that. That's the max what you want to put for weapons. Otherwise, it just won't do really any damage if you try to just totally max it out. So 2 billion. 2 billion. When doing weapons, such as hunter's weapons, I like to put the base and range damage up. And with the apprentice, the base damage on apprentice weapons is just the basic shoot. And then when you hold L to do the ranged attack, that's what this is. So you're going to want to max both those out. The only thing you don't want to max both of them out on is a Squire. Squire, you just do base damage. Now, too, I like to do elemental damage. Let's make it. Don't have a lot of fire weapons, so I'm still not gonna have fire weapons. So I'm gonna put lightning on. And now this all here, you just want to leave alone. You can switch this to godly if you like, but all this is set for armor. So if you are doing armor, just max all 4 of these stats up, and you can switch this to enchanted if you like. And don't mess with this primary number because that will favor you in no way. Now, projectiles, this particular weapon I'm using isn't actually. I can set this up to say +5 projectiles, therefore it should shoot 6 at a time. But this type of weapon will only shoot 1. So I'm just going to leave it at 1 because that's fine. Now, some weapons can have a max and they'll shoot up to 3. But the most, no matter what, like I can put this up to 6. And that's the max I recommend anyone ever going. Because usually, once you get over that point, like if I were to put it up to 20, what it's doing is it's overlapping the arrows or the bullets or whatever you're shooting to the point where it drops the FPS rate of your game. So what you're going to want to do is never do that unless you're trying to make a gun that lags games, which can be fun, but also can crash your Xbox a lot. Now, this is the projectile speed. Now, since this goes for monk weapons. The projectiles work for monk weapons as well. This determines how fast your weapon, the bullets come out of your weapon. The same thing with the monk's range attack. Now, I want this to shoot rather slow, so I'm just going to leave that at 0. Now, Eternia Crystal, you cannot do slow-mo mods with. That you would need hex mod, which I will be showing a video of later. Attack speed doesn't really matter on huntress weapons, but I like to put it at 4. This is basically how fast you can attack. This really matters with monk and squire weapons. It's basically how fast your monk can, afterwards hitting your sword, can come back and hit again. So 4 or 5 is generally the best you can get. Then I always just max out weapon range. Clip size, I'm going to want to do the 2 billion as well. Reload speed, max out to 128. Knockback and charge speed on a huntress weapon. I don't think knockback really ever matters, but on a huntress weapon, charge speed especially doesn't matter. So I'm just going to leave that alone. Shots per second, you can get up a little bit. Like I can put this at 128. That's not going to make it lag. The only time it really lags is when you have your projectiles up too much. But since I don't need it up that high, I'm just going to put it at 15. Now here you have the general item size. Now here, again, on Eternia Crystal, while it is practical, it is also limited. So you cannot have slow-mo mods, and you cannot do backwards. You can make it. See, this is 1. 1 is a good size. 2 is pretty big. 3 is as high as I recommend anyone going, because anything over here is just obnoxiously stupid. Now, when you put an item size at 0, that makes the weapon invisible. But I'm just going to keep this at 1 because I don't feel like making another invisible weapon. Now, take note, hex modders, when hex modding, if you have a backwards weapon, which basically, for all you little newbies, backwards weapon is made when the item size is dropped to a negative, which I'm hitting the dash minus button right now and it doesn't let you do a negative size. So when you open up certain hex mods inside inside Eternia Crystal, it will just correct it and make it 0. So if this was a backwards mod, I would click on it, and then this item size would be changed to 0 because it has no registry of putting things at negative in that category. Same thing with slow-mo mods, I believe, actually, it just won't take. When you try and click on them, it will just crash Eternia Crystal. Basically, I do not recommend opening something that has already been hex modded in Eternia Crystal. So, now it seems like we're all good here, but I want to change the color. Now, since it's lightning, so I would usually do -20, negative. I basically make it black and blue. But just for shits and giggles, I'm going to show you guys how to do rainbow, because a lot of people like rainbows. So what you're going to want to do is here on, actually it's down here, you start on blue, do 2976.23. Then on green, 59.81. On red, you put 9.77. Oops. That was wrong. So 9.77, then basically what you're going to want to do is flip it over here on the secondary side. So 2976.23, 59.81, and what do we put here? You guessed it, 9.77. And then just set your glow to 100. And there you go, you have a rainbow mod. It's all rainbowy and it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's just like, ugh, it's beautiful. Can't see it yet, but I know it's beautiful, so it's beautiful. So, then what you're going to want to do is, I like to save generally after each weapon, because you never really know what weapons could crash your game. I mean, your Eternia Crystal. So save frequently, and especially when you're finished, save. But first, before I get into anything else, I'm going to show you what the bank is. This brings up, over here is every single one of the items you have stored in your bank, which is basically your chest. But it will not work with weapons that are dropped in your tavern. Hex modding, you will be able to open up those kind of items, but not here. And the bad part about this is that you actually can't, but you cannot open something by name, because as you see, it just says spear, crossbow, pet, or sword, or then staff. This is really all you'll get. So that's why it's better to equip the item to your character before modding it on Eternia Crystal. It's a lot easier. And now if you want to max out this, just like your weapon damage and everything else, just put it at 2 billion. And this is your mana right here in your bank. So then I'm going to exit out of that and save. And one little heads up, if you want to mod, say, look, on this Huntress, actually, no, not that Huntress. On this Huntress, my normal Huntress, I have actually a Huntress Animus equipped. But as you can see, it's not showing up right there. And on here, I have a Guardian. Again, not showing up. Animuses and Guardians cannot be modded in Eternia Crystal. Just giving you a heads up before you try. Any other pet that I've seen so far can be. It would be perfectly fine. So, again, no Animuses or Guardians. So this is all you can generally mod in here. Again, helpful, practical, but limited. So just for safekeeping, I'm going to save. Then just exit out of all this. And don't worry, this button I never wanted to press because it looked threatening, because it looked like a scary little skull. But it's just the credits. Don't worry about that. If you're not stupid like me, it shouldn't really make a difference to you. But you're going to want to exit out of this. Bring the horizon back up. And now just drag your done death save into it. Skip this step. Overwrite. And now you're good. Now everything you've modded should work. Now it's generally hard. I've never actually corrupted a file with Eternia Crystal, and I'd be surprised if it's actually possible. You can only make guns that will lag and stuff like that, but that's pretty much it. So I hope this video was helpful. If you would like to order some mods, they're free, and we will make mods for you. But you have to do a small favor for us, which we will explain at the time, or I will actually leave it in the description. All you're gonna have to do. But just if you want to make an appointment for us to mod weapons for you, just subscribe to this channel and then PM this account, and with your gamer tag, I will send you a friend request and we will get stuff done. I hope this was helpful. Outcast animations, and yeah, antelopes are pretty fuzzy.
Outrageous.